What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Let us fire it up. I'm going to get so owned in this game. It's time that we get to the Steam Top 50 and seeing what the latest trends are. Gary's mod. There's TF2. It's usually around somewhere. Woo! Oh, it's snakes. Does it just have really high retention? This genre is still viable. Or you just gotta shoot his butt. There was kind of a trend for a while. Like that is just the way things work. We did it!
What is up, everybody? Good to see you all. Happy Clark Tank Day. Happy Friday. This time there was the whole Steam sale, which was a pretty eventful Steam sale. A variety of things to talk about on that front. And then just yesterday, I think, not the day before, but yesterday, Valve launched Steam Labs, which is right up our alley. It's like experiments that they're doing to try to improve discoverability on Steam. So we're going to want to talk about those things in depth as well. And hopefully we'll be able to, come up with suggestions and things to send to Valve and also to Ichiro. So famous indie dev Ichiro from Dejabon Games was helping Valve to create these experiments. We've been using on the Clark Tank for years, I think literally years, his Steam Microtrailers Twitter account. And now that is part of Steam Labs, along with other things that he's been working on. So yeah, we'll be checking that out for sure really soon. And also I wanted to talk about the Switch a little bit too. Yeah, so the Switch, I don't know, I'd like to hear from the rest of you who have Switch games and Steam games as well, what percentage, your sales are, and is it changing? Because for us, even if you go back before Cadence of Hyrule was announced, the Switch has been growing. It's been like taking up, a larger and larger percent of our income. Previously prior to launching Necrodancer on the Switch, I think we were like 90% of our income was from Steam, which is part of the reason why we do the Clark Tank and we're always analyzing the Steam Top 50 because it's so huge for indies. And PlayStation and Xbox, they certainly generate some revenue. And other stores like Humble and GOG, but still it was always Steam, primarily generating the bulk of it. PlayStation for us, for Necrodancer and Xbox, it did reasonably well back at launch, but the tail is not nearly as strong as the tail is from Steam. But yeah, now it seems to be changing for us. The tail on the Switch is pretty solid. And the sales, when you participate in their larger events and things like that, have been pretty solid too. So yeah, it would be good if on this show we started talking more about, the top sellers on Switch. But unfortunately, there's not really any easy way that I'm aware of to see them from your computer. Like you can go on your Switch and look at the top sellers, but it's not easy for us to do it here on the Clark Tank. And there are things like this. It seems like every month Nintendo puts out a list of the top sellers, and hey, looky here. In June, there was a couple of games you may have heard of. But yeah, it's, I wouldn't want to wait a month in order to have this, to discuss, although I suppose we could. It would be nice if it was more, real time. Also, it's not totally clear. We would need to be watching this for a while and try to figure out how it's functioning. But it's not totally clear what the criteria are for getting onto this list. So on Steam, the top sellers, it certainly seems like it's a sliding window of about a day or maybe 2 days worth of sales, and it's like revenue that it's tracking. So yeah, it's pretty clear to us what's going on Steam top charts. But on the Switch, it's not nearly as clear. It seems like that window is really long, like maybe it's multiple weeks or something like that, because the top sellers don't move very much. Whereas on Steam, every day things are moving around. But sometimes on the Switch, you'll see, days or even week before the top 5 changes, that sort of thing. So it would be good for us to start paying more attention to this, because I do think that it's important for indies to understand how the Switch works and how games sell on the Switch and which ones and why. The same sorts of things we've been doing for Steam for years. So Megacrit Games saying we recently-ish launched on Switch, so not sure what the tail will look like, but it's been doing well so far. Yeah, I've seen Slay the Spire in the charts. It should be in here, right? There it is, 21. So yeah, hopefully you'll see as strong a tail as we've seen with Necrodancer. And actually, one tip for you and for everyone else who has a game on the Switch, if you want to participate in sales, discount events and things like that, which I think that you probably should, make sure you check NCMS. That's one of the Nintendo developer sites, and at the top of it, it has a banner sometimes that shows you, upcoming sales and how to participate. And I currently have a Google Calendar reminder set so that every week I check it, because some of them are pretty big opportunities, and if you don't check for a few weeks, you might entirely miss the window. So set yourself a reminder, I would say every week, just to log into NCMS and take a look to see if there are any sales coming up that are suitable for your game. Not all of them can you participate in. It's similar on other platforms too. Sometimes it'll be like a download-only sale. You'll see them on the store. It's games that, or physical-only sale, or things like that. But yeah, check it out and make sure that you participate in the ones that you're eligible for. Are numbers open to discuss for Switch? No, unfortunately, I don't believe they are. Valve has now given people permission to openly talk about Steam numbers and things like that, but I don't believe that we're able to do it for other platforms just yet. But yeah, I can tell you that, it's, I think our sales for the first, quarter of this year, before Cadence of Hyrule was announced, we were actually selling more on Switch than we were on Steam, which is surprising. I didn't really believe it until we were crunching some numbers. We do at Brace Yourself Games, we do all hands meetings every quarter, and we take a look at how things are going for the company, and Lily, our financial controller, crunched the numbers, and I thought that it was wrong, but yeah, it's overtaken Steam for us. It hasn't been out on the Switch for as long as it's been out on Steam, so maybe that's a factor. And yet now, since Cadence of Hyrule has launched, that's also skewed things further, because people know about Necrodancer, more people know about it, so that's helping Necrodancer sell. So yeah, it's something that we should pay attention to. So if any of you out there are aware of any way that we can see top sellers on a Switch from the web, do let me know. I'm aware of this page. So if you search just for Nintendo Switch top sellers, you'll find this page, which I think I've checked a number of times, and it does not correspond to what you see if you go to your Switch and go to the store and look at top sellers. It's not the same list, and this list also seems to change fairly slowly. Even more slowly than that one that's on the Switch. So unfortunately, this one won't be super useful for us. If necessary, I suppose we could look at those, the news articles that come out once a month showing which ones are the best sellers. So yeah, it says that this is based on Nintendo eShop unit sales, which includes games of all prices even if they're free. Which is a little strange, because when Cadence of Hyrule launched, we were, of course, looking at the bestsellers, on the Switch and things to see how it was faring compared to other games. And yeah, NBA 2K19 was beating us because it was on a crazy sale. It was on 95% off or something like that, and it was during the NBA playoffs. But I didn't see Fortnite in that chart, so it's possible that chart doesn't show free-to-play games. So maybe this chart is including in-app purchases and things like that, revenue from those. So it would make sense that Fortnite, makes a lot of money. So yeah, that's why NBA 2K19 is up here. Obviously, Cadence of Hyrule launched in the month of June, so that's why it's up here. And Ultimate, I guess it's just perennial. It's not even that old. It only came out, around Christmas. But also this, I didn't really see this that high in the top sellers chart on the Switch when I was looking directly on the eShop. So yeah, it's possible that, DLCs, like the, buying new characters and stuff like that, like Joker, or the Season Pass, that sort of stuff is being factored in here where it's not in that other chart. So these are the types of things we will hopefully slowly learn about. Shakes fist at Smash Bros? No, you mean like the Gary's mod? I will never shake my fist at Smash Bros. I love Smash Bros. We play it at the office here fairly frequently. So yeah, Smash is in there, and Mario Maker 2 came out just like a couple days before the end of the month. So unsurprising to see it there. And then we get a number of indies. So Hollow Knight, Cuphead recently launched, and Necrodancer was doing well because we put it on sale, to coincide with the Cadence of Hyrule launch. And yeah, we did very well because of that sale. And obviously, you can see this is in the charts because of it. Red Galen saying, I can't disclose the numbers of Darkest Dungeon on Switch, but I think I can say that Steam is still our highest sales, with Switch being the next highest. Okay, well yeah, that makes sense. For us, the Switch is before it overtook Steam recently. It was number 2 by a long shot. So 2 games in the top 10. Yes, we were pretty happy with these results. It was a good month for Brace Yourself games. So yeah, Minecraft. You kind of would expect this to be higher, like maybe selling well like Fortnite does, but Breath of the Wild, Stardew, another awesome indie, Rocket League. Most of these things are not too surprising. So my friend Pedro also came out recently, so that's why it's in the charts. So yeah, I guess next Clark Tank won't be after the end of the month. So Clark Tank after the next one, we could look at this article and compare these are the June stats to the July ones, which will come out, and we can see how things have moved. Like, will my friend Pedro hang on for long? I think, there are ones like Overcooked 2 that I think are just perennial strong sellers on the Switch. Will it still be at like 16-ish? That would help us to get a sense for how consistent the tail is for some of these games. I expect Necrodancer will just be off the charts entirely because it spiked up there because of the sales that we put on. But it is selling better now than before Cadence of Hyrule. Just, I think a lot of people who play Cadence of Hyrule and finish it and want more Necrodancer-iness go in and purchase it, which is awesome for us. So yeah, even Mario and Rabbids is on here. Katana Zero. So yeah, Slay the Spire. Hopefully you will still be in the charts next month as well, Mega Crit. So yeah, let's try to check this out again next month. And if there's anyone who knows any way of seeing the charts more directly, please let me know so we can start doing that. Okay, so that's enough about Switch stuff. There's a lot of Steam stuff that happened this last month. First of all, it looks like Valve is continuing to do what they did in April, which is they showed the top 20 releases, the top 20 best-selling games, and they're doing it again. So that's great. It looks like this will be a consistent thing. So it's a good way for us to get a sense for what's selling these days, using different means than our usual methods, and make sure that we're not missing out on anything. Great Pixel saying, I wish Nintendo could tell how many people play in co-op locally on Switch and other stats. Oh, you mean just so that you could tell for, your future game ideas if it's viable or not? Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, just having more information in general is helpful for indies, which is why I'm always, a big fan of Valve, because they're pretty open with data. Like, look, they're going out of their way to make these things for us, to tell us what's been selling well. So that's good. So yeah, let's take a look and make sure we didn't miss anything. So Rise of Industry, we talked about this for a long time. I think it was originally available off Steam and then came to Steam. And yeah, I think it was not doing that well and then started doing better. I do recall that during the summer sale, they were streaming at some point and getting a lot of viewers and selling well. But yeah, this kind of game, I think, is very viable. Obviously, I think so, because we're making Industries of Titan, so this is like an industrial city builder sort of game. And Industries of Titan is somewhat similar, but in a sci-fi setting. So yeah, makes me happy to see that it's in here. Now these are ordered by release date, so we can't tell which one sold the best, but we know that they were all in the top 20. Swag and Sorcery. I don't think that we saw this one. Let's check it out.
working hard and plowing fields from dawn till dusk.
I think people like that in games. Tiny Build published this? Ah, that would help. It's a weird way to do the text on screen down in the bottom third here. Well, I don't understand. What are these like? Why is it the screen split into these horizontal strips? The Punch Club devs? Ah, okay. Oh, interesting. It's kind of a long trailer. I don't totally understand how the game works after that. Grind for resources, manage your own fantasy village, create and equip your heroes and send them to collect swag in Swag and Sorcery, a new streamlined RPG from the creators of Punch Club and Graveyard Keeper. But yeah, there are not that many indies that, you know, have repeated successes, and Lazy Bear now is one of them with 3 games that have done reasonably well. Mixed reviews. Whoa, 49%. Yeah, so recent ones, so maybe they fixed some things because the recent ones are better. So yeah, it sounds like this game could have done even better if it didn't have various issues. Remember being interested in this game, but the reviews made me not try it. Yeah, I would think twice if I saw 49%. That is not a good number. I think village simulations, you know, basically any kind of simulation game is viable these days. And yeah, this is a viable theme skin for it for sure. So not too surprising, and from notable developers. I wonder how much they were able to leverage their existing audiences. Okay, so Yakuza Kiwami 2, we knew about that. A Plague Tale we knew about. Rage 2, Beat Saber, not surprising. Sonic Team Racing. Minion Masters, so they're including free-to-play games in here. Zera Survival, I don't recall seeing this. You should check that out. Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Void Bastards, we talked about. Death Garden Blood Harvest. Okay, I also did not know about this one. That name, Death Garden Blood Harvest. It's like the kind of name that you when you're making your first D&D campaign or something like that, and you wanna name something and make it really spooky sounding. Death Garden Blood Harvest. Let's check out the trailer. It's got 5,000 reviews already. Was it early access? It was. Okay, because that would be a bonkers number in only 2 months. But all right, let's check it out. It's your new metal band name. Yeah, it sounds kind of like one of those band name generator tweets where it's like the last thing you tweeted plus your mother's maiden name is your metal band name. Are they gonna harvest blood, or are they just gonna frolic in the Death Garden? Neither so far. Well, a bit of frolicking, I guess. It's a battle royale, is it? Maybe? It's a Dead by Daylight? Okay, so it's like small number of players. Always like a Terminator. Why is he like a Terminator? What is it? Yeah, I can imagine that it's a viable genre. If you come up with a new gimmick, you know, blood harvesting, it doesn't feel like super hooky. It's just like spooky stuff. Multiplayer survival action game which Ruth's hunter tracks and guns down scavengers trying to escape the Death Garden. You know, Mom told you not to go in the Death Garden, but you just had to go and with your friends go to the Death Garden. During E3, there are 3 games announced with Terminator cameos. Oh, weird. Anyway, let's see what this is. Zera Survival game is, because I don't recall seeing it either. Play alone. That's not what I expected to see. But it sounds negative, play alone. It's like, you know, solo or multiplayer or something you might say, rather than play alone. When a prototype combat robot becomes self-aware, only you and competing mercenaries can end a war that humanity cannot afford to lose. Set in 2022, Zera Survival is an action-focused looter-shooter multiplayer play-alone open-world PvE survival featuring a global gear stash. What? Featuring a global gear stash accessible from any server? Okay, so you you yourself have a global gear stash and you can play it anywhere with it. Okay. It's battle royale, but like, who plays the robots? Is it computer? And are you competing with other humans or robots? That's not entirely clear. Mixed reviews, but yeah, like, these games are viable. I wonder how big this team is. Spotted Kiwi. How large of a team do you need to make a battle royale game these days? I've never attempted such a thing. No multiplayer games other than just small prototypes and things I've done before. How many of you in chat were affected by the summer sale? Did you have a spike in wishlist deletions? We definitely did, and it was higher than we've seen in terms of deletions in previous years, but it wasn't as bad as what we saw some other devs posting, so I think we got off a little easy. Also, I think Necrodancer was selling better. It sold better this summer sale than last summer sale, but I think it's because Cadence of Hyrule is out, and a lot more people are aware of the game now and want to give it a shot. So when it was on 80% off sale during the Steam Summer Sale, a lot of people picked it up. So that helped us out. But we did see Industries of Titan and Phantom Brigade lose some wish lists and stuff for sure. So yeah, for those of you who are not aware, the Steam Summer Sale had some incentives that were interesting. They gave people rewards if they did things like post reviews. They also knew that they had a chance to win some of their top ranked wishlisted items, and I think just that alone, incentivizing people to go and look at their wish list, caused people to kind of like clean up their wish lists. And also, I think it may not have been entirely clear which, how you would win. They might have thought, okay, it could be any game on my wish list I might win, so I'm going to take off the ones that I, don't really want to win, or even the ones that are unreleased, like our games, Industries of Titan and Phantom Brigade. Maybe they deleted those because they thought, I can't win it yet. It's not out, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think just incentivizing people to go and look at your wish list at all probably is going to cause them to delete things from their wish list. People just have that urge to want to tidy things up, and if you see things on there, you're like, I was interested in that before, but not anymore, that sort of thing. They also worded it poorly, and a lot of people thought they would select a random game. Yeah, exactly. So I think that was causing people to remove stuff. But I think even just getting them to go and look at their wish list probably would also be negative, which is strange. So yeah, previously I liked it better when the sales were incentivizing people to take a look at games that they wouldn't otherwise have looked at. So like reviewing games was a bit of a strange thing to do, and I'll cover it in a minute. It messes us up a bit because the Boxlighter numbers, the Boxlighter coefficient is going to be wonky now. But yeah, we'll talk about that more in a second. But they were also giving out vouchers, I think, for like $5 off of games. And yeah, I'm not totally clear how those vouchers were working. Was Valve paying that $5, or was it coming out of the devs cut? I'm not really sure. So yeah, it was an interesting one, but yeah, I feel like there's more benefit to everyone if the sales focus on getting customers to try to find other games that they might be interested in that they wouldn't have considered before. So I'm hoping that the Steam Lab stuff that we'll talk about in a minute might be featured in, the winter sale or another smaller sale coming up, maybe the Thanksgiving one, because it has new ways of surfacing games to people. So Valve is paying. Okay, yeah, I imagined they would be doing that, and it's similar to what Epic had done before, where they were trying to give people, vouchers to reduce the price. And it doesn't come out of the devs cut; it comes out of Epic or Valve's cut, which is super cool of them to do. So yeah, there were some negative effects that people saw. You see, people were tweeting a lot of charts like this. Definitely a bummer, especially if you only have like a few thousand or tens of thousands of wish lists, and you lose 1,000. That can really hurt. So yeah, I can see why some indies were upset, but Valve did, try to tweak things and try to, mitigate the damage. So, I commend them for being, responsive, and they obviously do care about, players were confused, but also devs, were seeing negative effects. So, and the Steam Labs thing as well is just another indication that Valve cares and they are listening. Yeah, hopefully we will see in the future things that incentivize you more to browse things you wouldn't otherwise browse, rather than reviewing stuff that you've already reviewed, or playing things you've already played. And this is what I was talking about with the box slider number being messed up. So this sale, the summer sale, was incentivizing people and rewarding people for going and reviewing games. So things that you already owned, people reviewed. And so you look in July here, these giant spikes, and if you look like last summer, no such spike. So yeah, it was like June, July last year as well, and nothing compared to these, huge spikes. So that is definitely going to skew it. Previously the box slider number was, between 50 and 80 or something like that. But it's going to skew it more for recently released games than older ones. So like Necrodancer's been out for a long time, so adding an extra 1,000-something reviews is not going to make as much of a difference percentage-wise, because we've got 15,000 total reviews. But if you just came out recently, like this year, and then this summer sale happened, it's going to skew the box slider number for you. So it sucks. Since Steam Spy doesn't work anymore, box slider coefficients have been what we've been using. So we just need to be aware now that it's even less accurate than it was before. So yeah, keep that in mind if you're using box slider numbers. It's good to know. And yeah, let's get to the whole labs thing. So, like I mentioned off the top, we were previously using Microtrailers to keep track of the kind of quality of games that were coming out on Steam. So yeah, there's 3 different lab experiments they're doing. One is Microtrailers, which we already were aware of. But now you can kind of see it in categories, which is interesting. You just browse many of them at once rather than them just showing up on your Twitter feed. And then the second one is newer. We'll talk about that one last. This one is more similar to Microtrailers, so let's take a look at this one. What they're doing is making an automatic show, trying to highlight the latest games from a particular day. Now, if this sort of thing could be combined with those sliders so that it would only show you things that you're really interested in, that would be pretty sweet. So how do you chat folks feel about this thing? It's a neat idea, because it's more interesting to watch a video than just to scroll through a list of game names and thumbnails and whatnot. And it's interesting the way they did it. I guess they took a snippet of the music from the game, and instead of just showing you one screen, they show you 4 at once. So you get, I guess, a higher density of information. Yeah, it's hard to just sit here. Is someone going to sit here for 30 minutes and just watch this? I feel like I would watch a daily digest. If I could say, exclude these tags of games I don't care about, choose the niche slider, that other lab that we're going to talk about. Choose where you want that slider to be, and then say, give me a daily digest of the new things, or a weekly one, or something like that, so that it would be just a few minutes rather than 20-something minutes. Because as soon as you see 25 minutes, you're like, I'm not watching all of this. But if it was 30 seconds or 2 minutes or something like that, then I think they'd be more likely to. Yeah, Twitter bots would help, but I wonder, I want it customized for me, and a Twitter bot couldn't really do that. So I guess they could have Twitter bots for roguelike games, that have come out, a lot highly rated roguelike games, just so that you get those in your feed. I would like that. So I could just subscribe to the types of tags that I'm interested in. So yeah, this is cool, but that's the sort of thing that I would like to see, a daily or weekly or both. And then maybe incentivize people to check it out as well. Why do all these incentive things that Valve does have to be only during sales? They could incentivize you with, badges and emotes and trading cards and whatnot, just for just watching the 1 minute thing, the daily highlights of the new games or the weekly ones. But yeah, tags, I agree. Tags are not quite enough, but this thing does actually seem to recommend. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. It does actually seem to recommend good stuff. So yeah, I don't know how they could combine this with something like Twitter, since it needs to be very personalized, but just having it on Steam and incentivizing people to use it, I think would be useful. Oh, you posted that link, Yuki? Hang on a sec. Play tracker. Who's making this and where are they getting the data from? Yeah, let's take a look at this. So, popularity, is that popularity in the rhythm genre or something like that? Because there's no way it's the 19th most popular Steam game of all time. Estimated 1.5 million owners. It's close. Not quite right. I think we're at 1.3 or something like that. There's the Slay the Spire one. Is this info accurate? 1.6-ish? Is that around right? So, user interaction. Oh, that's interesting. So the number of people who... Now, what counts as active? They played it within some window. In the last 2 weeks, launched it. Okay, wow, that is a really high number of actives you have there. 1.6-ish is very accurate. Interesting. Huh. This is useful. This is a useful site. Thank you for posting it. Concurrent. Okay. We're going to have to study this. We're going to have to learn about this, because maybe they're talking about how they're getting the data. Okay, yeah, we were about to do the interactive recommender, which is super freaking cool. So it may be a little weird here because this Steam account that we're using is the Brace Yourself Games one that we use for VR and for Clark Tank stuff. So it's not necessarily what I personally would get. I tried it out at home with my own personal account and it seemed to work pretty freaking well. So yeah, you can change the slider from popular to niche, and when you do, it starts to. Okay, I'm gonna filter out VR because I don't actually myself play a lot of VR games. Mugsters. See, I never heard of this, and it looks pretty cool. At home, it was recommending a lot of roguelikes and stuff like that, which was awesome. I was finding stuff that I had never, heard of before. So yeah, and then you can go, you only want new ones. And yeah, it also recommended Future Grind to me at home, which is pretty cool. But yeah, cranking this all the way up to niche is awesome, and then excluding stuff by tag. So it's nice that you can also say I only want certain types of tags. It would be nice if you could, type in any tag here, because I want roguelike, but it's not here. And excluding certain things, like at home, it was showing me a lot of, for some reason, games that are point and click, and I don't really like point and click adventure games that much. So I would have liked to have been able to exclude those, or maybe even go exclude this or exclude games like this, have a button on here. I think they have a pre-made data set. So yeah, they must have that would make sense that they, only have a certain number of drop downs here, only a certain number of possible permutations, and then they just pre-calculated all of it, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, well, it would be amazing if when you have a Steam sale, then you could, take a look at the games that are on sale and, get the ones that are recommended for you like this, rather than just seeing, the ones that are selling the best for everybody. I think it would work really well. And I am a person who obviously pays close attention to Steam and what's coming out. And if you're surprising me with roguelikes that I'm like, hey, that looks cool, looks like I would be interested in it, that I think is a pretty good indication that this works. So people who are less, pay less attention to what's coming out, what's selling, that sort of thing, it's going to work even better for them. So this is great, in my opinion. Hopefully they can roll this out on a wider scale, integrate it with big sales. So in the winter sale and things like that. Also motivate people, reward people, incentivize people for trying it out as well. I imagine they don't want to do that immediately. They probably don't want to have it pounded with traffic, but eventually I would love to see this become a larger part of the store, because for me at least, it works really well. Might see a recommender being a kingmaker for handfuls of games. Well, there's already kingmaking going on, right? But like, hopefully this will spread the love out more. And it definitely seems to for me, but I would be curious to know what it does for people who play like AAA games only. Because for me, it's showing me a bunch of indie games, or smaller games at least. So yeah, it seems like it's spreading the love out for me, but if you only play AAA games, is it just going to show you other top-selling AAA games? Because if that's the case, then maybe it's not going to, spread the love from the games that are already kicking butt to the ones that are not selling as well. All right, sounds like it's working pretty well for everybody. So seems like a big success. And yeah, I would love to see a digest of, you slide this out to newer, and maybe it's the last week or something like that. If they could, do this machine learning algorithm every week and then show you the Microtrailers version of this. Because yeah, I would like to see all of these. I might not spend the time to go watch every single trailer, but a sort of recap of all of them would be great. So good on you, Valve, for doing these lab things. I think it's working. Everybody in the chat seems to think that it's working. But yeah, let's take a look at the ICO Newsletter just to make sure we didn't miss anything. I'm a little scared to click on some of these things. This must have been in early access or something. There's no way, or it's free. There's no way it would have 4,000 reviews after just a week. Unless it's selling like crazy, but I haven't seen it in the charts. So I'm scared to click on that. Robot Master we can click on. This seems safe. Let's check it out. Okay, the graphics are fairly simplistic. Is this an engineering sort of a game? Exception is a game about AI programming. During the game, the player assists units to defeat their enemies in the virtual world. However, the player needs to control the units by programming instead of controlling them directly. That sounds awesome. Was this in early access before? How does it have this many? How is a game like this sold this much? Is it a Chinese developer? I didn't notice this. Yes, only 7 in our language. How the heck? How? Okay, we are aware of the boost that Chinese developers get from people who are Steam users from China, but holy smokes, China Store only shows Chinese translated games, sure, but still, like, this game seems fairly niche. Like even Zachtronics games, basically the most popular of the nerdy style game, can't pull these kind of numbers after a week, not even close. So, well, yeah, I guess that's true. There's less competition. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I guess it would be a good exercise for us to like load up Steam and make it show the store such that it's the same way that it shows it to people who are from China, so that we can see, how many games are on there. Because yeah, if you've got millions of users and they're only seeing like one new game a day or something like that, it would have a big impact. Well, we need to keep our eye on this trend, because it's definitely a thing. It's putting games in the charts that you would not otherwise expect to see in the charts. So it's a factor in today's ecosystem, that's for sure. Okay, Robot Master, pay for picture. I'm also scared to click on this. Rogan the Thief in Focus on You by Smilegate Entertainment. What? I'm a little scared to click on this too. The Love at First Sight. Came like a sunny summer day. Meet Yua and make your own sparkling moments. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. So it's like seems almost like visual novel-ish, but with, fully animated stuff. I'm also scared to click on this one. Kick the Anime Simulator. What does that even mean? Like 4 of these top selling ones are kind of weeby things. Unexpected. All right, let's check out Cubifactorium because that's more kind of in our wheelhouse, and then we'll move on. Okay, this looks a little bit like Factory Town and other similar games. Yeah, these types of games are viable if the gameplay is compelling and has longevity, decent retention. Certainly viable. Conveyors, automation. I like it. Cubifactorium. Okay, so it came out on the 3rd. So in a week or so, 68 reviews. Not bad. Let's keep on trucking. So this is one of our tools that one of our community members made. Helps us keep track of followers. Supposedly there's a bug with reviews right now, so don't look at this. But yeah, let's just make sure there's nothing surprising in here that we were not aware of. Naval action. It's a good looking boat. You'd think that the boats would not want to sail that close to each other because they don't have like brakes or whatever. They don't want to ram into each other. That was a serious French flag. Look at the size of that. What's gonna... You just sail your fancy boat around and put whatever weird flag on it you want? Oh no, you fight. Okay. Took a while. Took a minute to get to the shoe sting. Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a subset of Steam users who are into historical recreation type things. This must have been in early access before. How could it have this many reviews? Yes. But yeah, we know that these types of niches do well on Steam. There's ones for like submarines and different kinds of naval vessels and other military devices. So let's get to the bulk of our homework. So yeah, CSGO, Earth Defense Force just came out. Yeah, Earth Defense Force. I don't understand it. It just looks absurd. Like the graphics don't even look that good. It just looks ridiculous. What is even happening in these screenshots? There's just like gibs and stuff everywhere. Just screaming EDF and punching kaiju. The core loop of blowing stuff up in EDF is just fun. Yeah, I bet I would enjoy this. Okay, so yeah, it's at the top of the charts. Man, it's expensive. It's regularly... Oh, they got 20% off at launch. That's interesting. Okay, so Dota is not surprising. Octopath is on here because it's on sale. Warframe, man. I know that they had a big conference recently in Canada here. I think it's in Canada. So yeah, Warframe kicking butt. That game just making money hand over fist. PUBG, Rainbow Six, Grand Theft Auto. This must be a slow week because a lot of these should not be this high. FF14, got lots of coworkers playing this. Elder Scrolls, Rocket League's on sale. Total War 3 Kingdoms, it's sticking around. It's sticking around longer than I would have expected. I wonder if this is going to be like the best-selling Total War game of all time. It seems to be doing really well, and probably in part because of the theme just plays well in China. So what is this? 9 Trials. Another Chinese game. Frame rate. Why? So yeah, imagine like if you're Chinese and you are seeing trailers that are not localized to Chinese, because like all of our Necrodancer trailers are not localized to Chinese. So it's the same effect as seeing this. Like, I don't know what that title card just said there. So yeah, I wonder we should start localizing all of our trailers and stuff. Like Steam gives you the ability to localize a lot of your store assets. Okay, 600 reviews since it came out a couple weeks ago. And then let's see how many of them are English. 12. Do not buy this game if you live outside mainland China. This Battle Royale game only has Chinese servers. Holy smokes. Yeah, does the firewall prevent you from... It's just got bad pings. Interesting. Localize your thumbnails, these things. Your various images, and if you can, your trailer too. I bet it'll help you sell more in China. Because yeah, if you were a Chinese user, you didn't speak English, and you saw this thumbnail, would you click it? It means nothing to you. You don't know that it's Field of Glory Empires. Speaking of which, what is Field of Glory Empires? Came out a couple days ago.
Playable factions.
So is it like a Crusader Kings?
Its own set of national etcher
Slytherin is a more hardcore paradox. Yeah, this definitely is a paradoxy sort of feel to it. And I do think that such games are very viable on Steam, so not too surprising to see this in the charts. Is it better than Imperator? Well, Imperator had a rocky launch, but I wonder if they're improving it. Oh, there's combat. How does combat work? Oh, so you can't, those battles are not in this game. You have to export it, fight in a different game, and then bring it back. That is weird. 37 reviews came out yesterday. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how, if this can stick around in the charts. Path of Exile's often around. Mordhau these days is a new perennial. City Skylines, yeah, it shouldn't be this high, so like, it's just because it's a slow week. Risk of Rain, man, still in the charts. They're making so much money. TF2, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. They must have like had an update or something like that because it came out of nowhere and now it's back in the charts. Rust, Civ 6, Ring of Elysium. It must also have had like a sale or something. Generation Zero we checked out before. War Thunders, free to play, Xenoverse, Monster Hunter. Maybe it had an update or something. Assassin's Creed. Okay, so Cyberpunk. We were wondering last time, like, you know, how long can it stay in the charts? Can it stay in the charts for like a year? And it's still there after weeks. You know, there was a lot of hype about Cyberpunk at E3, so I thought that, you know, that's what put it in the charts and then it would drop out. But still here, bit lower, but still here. So yeah, this game is going to be a juggernaut. If it's selling like millions and millions of dollars worth, you know, 8 months before launch or however many months this is, it's crazy. I just hope that people aren't disappointed. You know, that can happen when you pre-order something and then when there haven't even been, you know, it's not out, it can't be reviewed fully and stuff like that. I hope people aren't disappointed. This game's here because it's on sale. Slime Rancher, I believe they had an update and a sale. Awesome to see it kicking butt. World of Warships is usually around, free to play. Stardew, yeah, a lot of these are higher than they should be. Raft, Arma, these are often in the charts. Age of Wonders must have had an update or something. Borderlands, Forest, Euro Truck. How big is GOG? Hey Nick, yeah, congrats on Slime Rancher continuing to kick butt. It's awesome to see. Euro Truck. Is it just like that slow of a week that Euro Truck is even in here? Now Muse Dash, we talked about this previously. I think we talked about it because it had a lot of followers. And it's launched since the last Clark Tank, I guess? Oh. Did it have an update or something? No, that's just when it came out. 5,000 reviews. It's got nudity in it. Okay. It's a porno rhythm game. Yeah, we did watch it before. It's got nudity in it. That is surprising. It doesn't look like it. It looks like just super cutesy. Weird. And it's only a few bucks, so I guess it's in the charts because it sold so many units. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's in here. Popularity 4. 250k units after just a few weeks. Yeah, the concurrents kind of back that up. F1, so this came out fairly recently, so not surprising to still see it in the charts. Okay, here's Godhood, which is what we're going to be playing shortly. Abbey Games say also made, I always call it Reyes, but I'm pretty sure that they've told me that that's not how it's actually pronounced in Dutch. And Renowned Explorers too. Both of them did reasonably well, and now they're back with Godhood. So let's check out the trailer. Stylized vector art, yeah. I wonder how they're doing that. Combat is interesting. They were #1 when it launched, yeah, but the reviews are a bit mixed.
Create your own religion in God.
It's funny. He's doing the movie announcer voice with these things. It's funny. Yes. So we'll be playing that shortly once we get through our homework here. And yeah, mixed reviews. Let's see if we can find out how many units sold we're at. It had a Kickstarter? Oh, really? I wonder if we saw it. Okay, 2K owners. It's not a ton, but the price is high-ish. Regularly $27. That is a weird price. That is a bizarre price. I wonder why they chose that one. It had a Kickstarter? Okay, we're gonna have to find that now. Yeah, it's still not totally clear, you know, does Kickstarter success help your launch? Because you immediately get a spike of people playing it when it does come out. Which I do think makes the Steam algorithms sort of take note of your game. So I am of the opinion that having had a Kickstarter probably does help a bit. Although it also does, you know, this is a 1,000-something people who aren't buying it right now on Steam that they might have helped it to spike higher in the top seller chart when it came out. If those people bought it now or on launch day, right? So it's early access still? Okay. Yeah, well, they made a decent amount of money. How long ago was this? Okay, Smite's usually around, Arc as well, NBA, Stellaris. Yeah, these things shouldn't be here. Bloodstained slowly dropping off. Kenshi, Beat Saber. Man, Beat Saber must make like 10 times more money than any other VR game. It's such a big difference. World of Tanks, Wormworld, yeah, these are games that, you know, haven't been in the charts for a while. Are we going to see Gary's mod? The Hunter, Human Fall Flat, Destiny 2, pre-orders. Destiny 2 is only $35. That's a bit surprising. I guess it's been on other platforms for a while, but Warhammer Divinity. House Flipper. Yeah, see, these are games that were in the charts a while ago, but not now. Not lately, and now they're back. So yeah, it must just be the post Steam sale lull. But no Gary's mod though. We haven't seen Gary's mod in a little while. All right, okay, moving on. We want to take a look at the top wish list just to make sure we're not blindsided by any games coming up that we're not aware of. So not too surprising to see Cyberpunk here. It's probably going to be there until freaking April. I am pumped about this. Code Vein. But what is gameplay?
We don't have a lot of hope without you.
Their faces are more anime than the rest of them.
Revenant, I choose to eat.
Seems a little generic to me. Oh, it's Namco. Yeah, is it from a known franchise? In the face of certain death, we rise. In the not-too-distant future, a mysterious disaster has brought collapse to the world as we know it. That's like the most generic thing that you could possibly say. All right, let's quickly look at new and trending. Make sure we don't miss anything. Streets of Rogue. Did it come out of early access or something? Must have. Because, yeah, we talked about this a number of times. Her Majesty's ship. Who are you shipping? People like ship games, I guess. Only one review, though. Field of Glory we saw. Blazing Chrome. Okay, we didn't see this. We should probably watch that. Earth Defense Force we watched and laughed about. Dungeon of Dragon Knight. Blood Harvest. 70 reviews. Okay. Kingdom Wars 2. Hitman DLC. Focus on You. We checked that out. It's weird. Final Fantasy 14. Some DLC. Okay. Let's check out Blazing Chrome. The animation. It's too good.
Blazing Chrome.
They need that. So this is like a Contra-like, I suppose? Oh, that's so very Contra. I enjoyed me some Contra. Yes! Yes! Yeah, remember back when your PC, you know, internal speaker, when they first figured out how to make it say, you know, words like that? The first game that I played where my PC squeaker talked, my mind was blown. Blazing Chrome. Kingdom Wars 2 is your game. Bad Logic? Let's check it out. Definitive Edition. How did Kingdom Wars 1 do for you? Hey, ships. We know everybody likes ships. It's a good start. Wow. The scale is pretty impressive. Battle hundreds of players? Like, you mean players, or you mean, like, enemies? Computer enemies? Feels like a Total War, yeah. Which, those games do well. Kingdom Wars 2. You need to hire me to do the voiceover. That's awesome. Yeah, the scale is very impressive. I think I probably would have made the trailer a little shorter or punchier if it were mine, but looks like it's doing reasonably well for you. Congrats. Curious how sales exposure are affected via re-releasing. Yeah, I wonder if that had an impact. If this were just a totally new game, yeah, I wonder what the launch would have been like. Dungeon of Dragon Knight. Let's check this out. Puzzles. Whoa, that guy's very cartoony looking. Are these like asset store assets? Because they don't all seem to fit together. It's doing a little better than I would expect. Yeah, seemed a little generic to me, but it's selling reasonably well. Interesting. All right. Now on to the Hypestagram. See how things are going with game launches this week. And we're talking about it seemed like a slow week, and I think that's correct. Yeah, normally we would be seeing low 20s, low to mid 20s, and look at this. So it's the effect of the ending of the summer sale, keeping everything extremely low. Makes sense. And yeah, let's check out the graph. I'm going to reload it in case there's anything new. The Eye of Beholder style, yeah, it seems similar. Now, last Clark Tank, we were like about here. And I think I said we were canceling the Apocalypse. Well, yeah, the Indiepocalypse. I think we officially canceled the Indiepocalypse. Why is this happening? So obviously there's a dip because of the summer sale and stuff. But I didn't expect us to go like this low. Are people being scared off by Indiepocalypse hype, or was there just, a backlog of people launching their games through Steam Direct and Greenlight and stuff, and now that's over? They are dropping like flies, it's true. There are many indies who are struggling, so I think that is affecting things. But yeah, I still wasn't expecting it to go this low. Interesting. So yeah, a lot of people were worried that, that when you see this, and then these blue ones where it was just going up and up and up, they were concerned that it would just continue to go into the stratosphere, but it's totally dropped off. But yeah, I don't think that it matters all that much. You still need to, no matter how many other devs there are, you still need to make something that's unique and will capture people's attention, and there aren't that many games that achieve that on a weekly basis. If there were hundreds of attention-catching games every week that were launching, that were, getting into the charts and stuff like that, then yeah, your attention-catching game that you hopefully will be able to make would be competing with all of those for chart position. But like, we just went through the top 50. There's only a couple new ones in there that we hadn't seen before. And it's always been like that. Since the start of the Clark Tank, it's always been like that. So, if you make something, hooky, and that is fun and retentive and whatnot, you are going to be able to sell. I don't think that it matters how much competition there is. We're nowhere near the point where the chart is saturated with amazing new games coming out every day. Not even close. And I remember a few years ago, we had like a week, back when we were Clark Tanking every week, we had a week where there was like 7 or 8 really good games that came out, and they were all in the top 10, but they were all just getting still huge numbers of reviews and whatnot, and I don't think that they were harming each other's sales. So, even if that became the norm, and it hasn't, I think it still would be okay. So, I think the onus is still on us as developers to make something interesting and to make something eye-catching, attention-grabbing, and you can still succeed. So last bit of homework before Kickstarter, we used to check out Microtrailers, but then something happened. Ichiro I guess when he switched it over to the Steam Labs, something must have gone wrong. But we can take a look at some of the older ones, because the point of this is just to sort of see what kind of competition we're up against. But it's similar to what I was just saying. Like, if we were up against extremely powerful competition, we would be seeing new games in the top 10 weekly or daily, you know, tons of them. And we're not. We're seeing, you know, just a small handful. What? Okay, I want to check out this trailer. Seems funny. Serious wall jumping cat. Don't get squished. This game is for people. This is a weird game. Weird trailer. Alright. Blazing Chrome. We saw Red Hot Vengeance. Let's take a look at this. And then... Alright. So yeah, that's the kind of competition we're up against. And yeah, it's not quite the types of games that make it to the top 10. So yeah, I think there's still plenty of room for indies to succeed. Just got to make the right kind of game and pay attention to, you know, what genres are working. Yes. All right, let's check out the top few Kickstarters and then play some Godhood. All right, Away, the survival series, an animal adventure game. There's a lot of animal-y games these days. And weird kind of lemur sort of thing.
Closer in a deadly competition.
What? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Not exactly what I was expecting. All right, they've already succeeded. We got 12 days left. Ah, it's a Canadian one. Canadian Media Fund. Interesting. I wonder where they're from. I do not believe I've met them before. All right. Theropods, an adventure game full of dinosaurs. Is this safe? Looks safe. Hey, dinosaurs. That reminds me of Dino Run. Very much reminds me of Dino Run. In a land of dinosaurs, till the yellow rock fell. Interesting. Seems cool. Unique. Theropods. Yeah, well, this was the art style I was expecting, not the pixels. When does that art style happen? Whoa, and it's also got shooter. I guess it's mostly platformer adventure. That's pretty cool. Well, they already reached their goal. They made a lot of money. That's pretty awesome. It doesn't have any particular hook, really. It just seems like really well made. Yeah, I just want the soundtrack. That's awesome. All right, Street Uni X. See some sweet unicycling. How does that not hurt? Oh, they hang onto it with their hand. This is a Vancouver dev, really? Does this street unicycling happen in Vancouver? I've never seen it. A video game by Daffodil. They got a ways to go, but it looks like it only launched somewhat recently. But now we're going to load up some Godhood. Hi, I'm Rick. No, I got to do the movie voice. Hi, I'm Rick, a developer here at Abbey Games. Yeah, I think doing this kind of message during early access makes sense. I think it helps players to give you more of the benefit of the doubt. I remember Hopfrog did a good one in Forager. It also helps to humanize, you know, saying your name and stuff like that. Even just showing a picture of you or a caricature of you or something like that, I think makes a lot of sense. And telling them like what you're trying to do, and that you haven't quite got there yet, I think helps them to give you the benefit of the doubt. Makes sense. I think we'll probably be doing these sorts of things in our games too. Oh, look, and they've got links to the race. It's like a link that works in Steam itself. That's smart. I think more games should do that. We should do that with Necrodancer once we have other games to link to. I am the Clark. The religion is called the Tank, I guess, and then worshippers are called Chums. They would start with a single soul destined to become the first prophet of the Tank. I am O'Clark. War will become a vice and may not be select. Oh, that's not fun. I want to see what the fighting is like. So even though we're a light-themed god and religion, let's do war. Are we gonna do some mega attack? War Reaper. Chew on the War Reaper. Uh-oh. We lost. What is this? What's happening? Victory in the sacrament will convert new chums. With more chums, O'Clark will grow more powerful. Yeah, we need more chums to drink with. Oh, so they roll to see which of their random attacks they're gonna do. Ooh. Nice. Rip. Dominated. Wow. This game throws a lot of stuff at you. I don't really understand most of these things yet, but we'll just muddle through and hopefully it'll start to make sense. Well, let's proceed. So are we going to get some more chums out of this? We were promised 10 chums. What? You can choose what kind of miracle building? Outdrink others, gaining plus health and devotion. Okay, we're doing that one, obviously. What? Oh, it's giant. Heavyweight drinker. Wow. Oh, it takes time? It takes a day. You gotta go drink for an entire day, and then the miracle will happen. Already quite smashed, Nate challenged a nearby lake to a drinking contest. Naturally, the lake agreed. What is this? Uh-oh, that was not as effective. Oh, we gotta survive this round. Oh, come on. Ah, 17, wow. So, is that like would that be the end of the game if we did this? Or there's like other islands? Oh, okay. So then we could go to other islands from here. Still, it seems like now that I understand the sort of loop, we could probably bust through the rest of this content in another hour or so. Alright. I think I understand Godhood. I want to take a look at on the store, what are people saying about it. Feels slow, boring, even nothing I do felt godlike. Didn't feel like I was making a religion. Yeah. Yeah, the price. Poor man's version of Dota Battle Chess, I suppose. Yeah, the way that the combat just sort of happens automatically. Yeah, I think my main complaints with this are that that is a pretty high price. It seemed like we didn't get to the end of it, but it seemed like it's perhaps a little short. But mainly, it's not that sim-ish. It doesn't feel much like Populous, which was, you know, sort of the progenitor of all of this. I was like directly commanding the people. And also, yeah, I think ideally when you're designing a game, you want your depth to come out of, I talk about this a lot at Brace Yourself here, but you have different like layers of interactions. So, you know, the way that the fighting works can interact with, you know, the skills and things that you learn or the relics that you find, and you need to like buy those or refine them, you know, by using work or something like that. And so those would be different layers that impinge upon each other and affect each other. So you want to have layers that are easily understood, so you don't have to do a ton of reading, so you can kind of like intuitively get them. But also ones that have enough interactions with the other layers that the you know, combinatorial explosion happens. You don't want to have like this layer that only ever touches one other layer, because then it, you know, is not interesting. It can only ever do one thing. But if it can do 5 different things with all these different interactions with other layers, then that makes it much more, it provides more depth. And so I think that's how you want to design games like this. And I think that this game looked like it may have a fair amount of depth if we went further into it, but it kind of came from a lot of different layers, which you had to do a lot of reading in order to understand them, because they weren't immediately intuitive. And yeah, it looked like some of them impinged upon each other, but not as much as you would want ideally. So yeah, it's an interesting game. It sounds like they said at the start their goals were to make it so that you were kind of doing more indirect interaction with the people, and I think that would be wise if they can pull that off. Like the systems that are in there, I enjoyed it and I wanted to keep going and you know, get to the end. It didn't feel that much like a God game to me. So yeah, I think if they can add those things that they're talking about, it could get there. And yeah, it could become more of what people are expecting and become more worthy of the high price. But yeah, I think that this shows that this game doesn't really have any particularly strong hooks. Like create your own religion, I suppose, is the one. And yet it's doing reasonably well despite not super strong hooks and slightly mixed reviews. So I think that just shows that this genre is viable. I think sim games in general are viable. And if you can get good review scores and if they also have a hook, then they could be extremely viable. So if any of you out there are trying to figure out what to work on next, you know, I think the sim games, strategy games are still quite viable on Steam. Learned a lot thanks to all of you hanging out with me as usual. But that's it for this time. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in 3 weeks.